Good afternoon, Canada. This is Sandra Lebrecq. I'm going to wait a little bit more just in case some people do join in for this webinar. I will be recording it, so I will be able to share this presentation with all of you afterwards in case you were not able to attend the presentation. I don't want you to miss out on any of the information about EHL. So I will just not be on the screen. I'll be muting myself just a couple more minutes to give the chance to others to join the webinar, okay? But just as a reminder to make sure that you are in the right webinar, this is EHL live webinar. EHL, I'm going to be talking today about our hospitality business school and the overall college experience that you will have while you're studying abroad and a few advantages of that, as well as who EHL is and the admissions criteria. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start the webinar because I know that there are other webinars planned and I want to be respectful of other universities that have their planned webinars. Again, this presentation is being recorded, so you do have the possibility, if this was not a convenient time for you to listen to the presentation, you will have the opportunity to listen to the presentation at a later date and a later time. And maybe if you want to watch it with your parents as well along, you're more than welcome to. But again, EHL stands for École Hôtelière de Lausanne. We're a hospitality business school. My name is Sandra Lebrecq. I am the regional recruitment manager for the Americas. So me and my team, we work here based in North America. I am in Florida. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. Husband is French Canadian, so there is a link to Canada there. And I do have colleagues that are based in the United States as well as Peru. And our job is to make sure that you are very well informed about our programs, our different campuses, and the different possibilities you might have to taking part of this program and this university, anywhere from Canada down to Chile. I wanted to introduce one of our students. She's not going to be with us. Unfortunately, she is in the hospital right now. She is sick. Hopefully she's going to be recovering very, very soon. But her name is Fausta Tesolin. She is our student assistant. She's a current student at EHL. But I wanted to give you kind of an overview of who she is because she did graduate from an IB school in Quebec. She has multiple nationalities. She has like 3 different nationalities. She did her middle school in Brazil. Then she continued, she's from Argentina, middle school in Brazil, and high school also in South America. Then she completed her high school in Quebec, graduated from an IB diploma. She loves baking, she loves hiking, she's very active. She's a student ambassador on our campus. She's the one who's taking all the different pictures and putting it on a regional Instagram account. She's very personable. She's very international. She did her first internship of our program in Italy at a restaurant. So she's very, very curious about different cultures. She's very international herself. But this is a good representation of an international student that would attend our university. We do have more than 65% of our student body that is international. Don't worry, don't be intimidated if you haven't traveled around the world. And I mean, a lot of times it's thanks to parents and jobs and possibilities to vacation. But the point is really, we really enjoy getting to meet people from around the world, diversifying our student body, and also exposing you to that type of student body, because I don't think personally you should only learn from professors. You should, of course, but you should also learn from your classmates and your colleagues, and they should be challenging as well and be able to contribute to your education, as well as the country where the education is being offered. So I did want to share a few things in regards to a few of the advantages of studying in Europe. I tend to travel with other European universities in different countries throughout the Americas, and we really try to promote the advantages of studying in Europe, because a lot of people have misconceptions that, for example, if you study in Germany or in Spain or in Switzerland, you have to know the local language to go to university there, and that's not the case. In Europe, it's very normal to have 3 languages and be fluent in 3 languages. It's very normal to have a lot of expats that live in the different countries, and it's very normal to have a lot of international students attend the universities. There are plenty of universities that are taught in English. And then at the added advantage is, of course, that you will pick up another language, maybe 2 if you really love languages while you are there. We do have competitive tuition fees as a whole in Europe. It depends who you compare us with, but there is a whole range of tuition fees. It depends if you're going private or public. The quality of education, there is a system. It was a system that took place in the 1990s to really harmonize the education system, to make sure that when you go to a university with the proper accreditation from that country's government or equivalent to Ministry of Education, that what you do receive is high quality, and that when you go looking for a job throughout Europe or outside, it is understood based on accrediting bodies, but also that you have the possibility to go from country to country and do maybe a bachelor in one area, a master's in another, or an exchange program in a different country within Europe and outside of Europe. So it is a harmonized education system with the European credit transfer system as well, so that in case you do any type of exchange program, the credits are also understood, and depending obviously which university you apply to, they could be transferable. Of course, each university has their criteria for exchange programs, but it's just to let you know that you do have that possibility. You can, of course, further your studies. Like I mentioned in master's, it's a 5-year system. So either you can do a 3-year bachelor, 2-year master's, 4-year bachelor, 1-year master's, but it's overall 5 years. And if you ever want to continue your career within Europe, you can do so. There are different countries have different approaches. Like, for example, in Switzerland, you can stay up to 6 months after you graduate looking for a job. Your visa changes, but you don't have to kind of automatically leave after graduation date, and then they have you leave the country immediately. You do have that 6-month period where you can try to stay in the country and look for a job. Other countries have different flexibilities, but I just wanted to share the one for Switzerland. And of course, you have the access to foreign languages and cultures. Europe is very small as a continent. I mean, as far as location-wise, it's in the center of Europe. So it's fantastic because in no time, sometimes half an hour away, you're already in a different country. An hour and a half north from Switzerland, you can travel to London. An hour and a half west, you can go to Madrid. For the weekend, you can go to Paris. So it's very, very accessible to different countries. And so that allows you to learn also and have a different experience, not only in college, but also about different cultures, ways of living, languages, food, and wine. The Swiss lifestyle is very, very safe. We're always in the top 10 to 15 safest countries around the world. Fantastic food, fantastic chocolate and cheese. Our competition is Belgium, let's say, for chocolate, but I mean, everybody knows the Swiss quality of chocolate and quality of any type of product, actually. Transport system is very, very easy. I do believe that landscapes are very similar to those in Canada. Lots of mountains, some areas more snowy than others. Lots of hiking trails, great, skiing areas. There are mountains where in one side of the mountain, you're in Italy, the other one in France, the other one in Switzerland. So you have very unique type of lifestyle, and it's very, very high quality. It's very safe. It's very punctual as well. So if you're not very punctual, this is something that you'll definitely have to adapt, because the train will leave you behind. But as I mentioned, Switzerland is in the center of Europe. So within 3 hours flight distance, you get to many, many countries. Here's just like 36 as an example. But you do have access, and we do have discount airlines. It's called EasyJet over there, where you can just take a short flight at a very reduced price, or of course the circuits around where you can go by train. If you like traveling, our education is very much about traveling, not only because we teach hospitality, but also we do expose you to different educational conferences. Students can apply to certain conferences. It could be working along with investors in the industry. I personally went to one in Colombia, and I met with 2 students there, and they wanted to learn more about the investment side towards the industry, investors towards more like hotel development and other. So I met them there, and that's some of the opportunities that you do get exposed to when you are studying in our program. I already mentioned, on the weekends you can go to Paris in 15 minutes and you're already there. So it's fantastic to be able to be so close to different countries. But your internships are part of our curriculum. So in our 4-year program, you are required to complete 2 6-month internships, and those internships can be anywhere around the world. So I normally say that if you have a bucket list and you've always wanted to go to Thailand, or always wanted to go to Australia, or I don't know, any country, or Scandinavia, or I don't know, New York, you can get to it. You just have to apply to the internships that are in those locations. And you have to complete the internship anyway. You obtain work experience, you apply the knowledge in the classroom in actually completing an internship. You develop your professional network before graduating, and you get to that bucket list as well. So travel is something that is, it's kind of like a passion for a lot of our students, but you do get to do that during the program, either on a personal scale or for the internships or part of the conferences that we allow our students to also take part of and go to. Not only that, but we do have 3 campuses. So we have 2 campuses in Switzerland. One is in Lausanne, in the French-speaking region of the country. It's about 45 minutes away from the city of Geneva. Pasug is in the German side of the country, Swiss German. That one I will briefly speak about as well during the presentation. And then Singapore, which we just opened this past September. We're super excited about that. And then there's of course, some differences between the different campuses, which I will review. But who exactly is EHL right now? We are close to 129 years old. We were founded in 1893. I mean, ranking means different things to different people, but the past 3 years, we have received the best hospitality and leisure management university ranking around the world. So not just the continent, but I say the world, which is very, very good, because that allows you to not only know that you're getting a very good education at EHL, but also it gives you access to a lot of the network from our alumni, but also the reputation carries over when companies come to hire our students, because they know that they are well-prepared students. We have Berceau d'Essence, which is our fine dining restaurant. Last 3 years, again, we have received our Michelin star, so we're very proud of that. And De Gaulle and Millau rating as well. We have a 16 out of 20. So those are prestigious awards that we have earned, and that's thanks to the caliber of professors that we have. We are a nonprofit university, so we do reinvest in our campus and reinvest in our professors as well. So you're sure that whatever is being invested in the university is being really invested in the education that you will receive. We have over 200 different companies that come to recruit our students, some in the traditional hospitality field. And when I say traditional, is what lots of people think that is the only thing we are, meaning restaurant, hotel, cruise ships, event management. But there are also lots of companies that come to recruit, and they're not in the traditional aspect of hospitality, but they highly want to hire our students, because in our program, it's very much of a mix between hospitality management and international business management. So it's about leadership. It's about knowing how to work with cultures. It's developing soft skills like problem solving and working with different cultures, emotional intelligence and other, but also the know-how of knowing marketing, real estate, law, finance, accounting, etc. So all the business courses as well. We're very present around the world. We have like 70 alumni chapters that we have. And then we have many partnerships along the way as well. So all of this kind of represents what you would receive as far access and as far as reputation and everything from an education from EHL. It's not a new university. We are the oldest in the domain. And because you do complete internships during the program, we do have a very high graduate employability rate of 96%. So you actually go out very confident because you have actually worked before graduating. The actual degree is called International Hospitality Management. Like I said, we do have multiple campuses. So if you're really going for the multi-campus experience, you can start in Lausanne and then finish the last 3 years in Singapore. Of course, the internships are international, so you can do them wherever as long as kind of you meet the criteria of the internships, which you would have support on campus to understand what is the guidance and the criteria. And then, of course, you have access to the job platform, alumni network, and you also have access to the career fair that is done twice a year to make sure that you are exposed to the right employers. If you don't want to start in Lausanne and finish in Singapore, you could always start in one campus and just do one semester in a different campus, it'd be in Pasugo or Singapore. But if internationalism, travel, a certain lifestyle, really being able to learn outside the classroom, the cultural aspects, and have access to partnerships, internships in different countries is what you're aiming for. You definitely get exposed to that if you wish. If you're needing a little bit more stability, you could also stay just 4 years in Lausanne. But I'm just giving you your options just so you know what you could go up to as well. So like I said, I mean, hospitality business management is an industry or a degree that really does prepare you for lots of different jobs. And the proof is in our alumni. As you can see on the screen, you have different type of organizations that hire our students. These are our relatively young graduates. You'll see people in National Geographic in the branding department. Some are in finance, some are in hotel management. Some are designing hotels, some more the creative side, fashion week. Some of them are in interior design and they create the gallery style concepts for the food and beverage industry. You have Prudential Financial. And as you can see, everybody's jumping around: New York, Russia, Copenhagen, Brazil, Italy, a bit everywhere. So if you think EHL, one of the biggest things you think of is international. And then also, I mean, it's a huge network that you would be part of. And we like to use the word, instead of network, we like to use the word more family, because we do feel that our alumni network is very close knit, and we do treat everybody as if they were family members. These are examples of some of our senior graduates. So as you can see, again, different countries, but different domains as well. You have those who are in tourism, those who are in JLL, for example. They work in hotel investments. So if you're into real estate on a corporate level, you can maybe get into that area. Banking, hospitality groups, and other. Four Seasons, the global operations president, is an alumnus of ours as well. So very reputable, very good representation. And we're very proud, of course, of our family and the representation that they have around the world. Like I said, 3 campuses. The main one is in Lausanne, in the French-speaking region of the country. We are in the middle of a construction. We're expanding our campus. We are setting the bar pretty high for sustainable campuses out there. When I say sustainable, it's not a sales pitch, I must tell you. It's real. We have geothermal probes going underground and bringing up naturally heated water. We have solar panels, nature trails. We do have a bio garden where we grow some of our products for our fine dining restaurants. Everything is naturally, it's with natural air. So it's something that we're very, very proud of. We're very, very involved. We have Sustainability Week. We teach sustainable hospitality. So if protecting the planet, sustainability is something that is a passion to you, for you, you could consider maybe the Lausanne campus, because it is something that we do and we implement in lots of aspects of how we run the business. but also on how we teach and how what the students are exposed to. Sustainability Week, we do a lot of charity work and a lot of community service as well outside of campus, because we think that your experience should be not only in the bubble, but also off campus and helping the community around. These are some images of what our campus is starting to look like right now. Like I said, we're still in the construction phase. Our official inauguration will be July 8th this year. But we have an indoor heated pool. There's a lot of images that you'll see that look like hotel rooms, very modern campus. So it's almost 129-year-old university with a very modern campus in Switzerland. A lot of open spaces, a lot of windows in the classroom. So really, it's pretty awesome, because you're taking class and all you see is the Alps around you and nature trails and everything. So it's very, very, very beautiful. As you can see, I mean, compare our dorms with some of the dorms out there in some universities. They're very modern, very clean, slick, hotel looking, very fresh looking. So these are what our dorms look like, as well as our apartments, because we do have apartments on campus starting the second academic year. Singapore, you have the possibility to either transfer to, or if you want to start in Lausanne and continue the last 3 years in Singapore, it is exactly the same program, just different location. A few added advantages of Singapore is it's also very famous for being the most sustainable city in Asia Pacific. We have very strong ties, partnerships there in the city. We have alumni that come to our campus and make sure that they do maybe workshops or talks or have lunch with our students. So you get to know our network close by. Fortune 500 companies, as well as a lot of luxurious type of hotels that are based in Singapore, that allows, we've had a few hundred students do internships in Singapore. If you think about the movie Crazy Asian, Rich Asians, that movie was filmed in Singapore. If you're a foodie, you can find a lot of Michelin star restaurants there that are super inexpensive. But it's a very, very innovative city, very close to other countries as well. So location-wise, it's fantastic. Same education, professors from EHL teaching you there, but very close-knit with the local community, partnerships and other. And of course, there are additional languages that are taught there as part of their curriculum that are not necessarily available in Lausanne. Cost of living is about 15% less than in Switzerland. So you are able to have a little bit more flexibility on your, let's say, weekend expenses. These are the images of what the classrooms and the campus looks like. In general, I mean, our program, we have 3,600 students approximately in Lausanne. So your classroom sizes will be small. And in Singapore is the same, even smaller at times, because we just opened in September. So there's a lot of interaction with professors, there's a lot of interaction with your classmates, and there's a lot of group work. So if you like to learn by doing, if you like to have that close-knit type of family, if you prefer small classroom sizes and more of an intimate type of approach to your education, yet very international and having a lot of support on campus, that's the type of setup that we offer you. We do not have dorms on campus for Singapore specifically, not yet at least, but there are lots of apartments nearby. These are some of the names of the different apartment complexes that we have nearby that are either 10, 15-minute walking distance or just a shuttle away that takes you to the campus. Very beautiful. Some of these are apartment complexes that are managed by our alumni locally. So you have that connection to the alumni network. And lastly, our PASU campus. PASU campus is in the Swiss German side of the country. It is very holistic education in the sense that if you, again, learn by doing, there are a lot of workshops, case studies that are done on campus, a lot of experimental type of courses that you take. They have a multi-sensory restaurant. So you're basically having the experience of, like, say, the culinary arts, but in the dark, blindfolded. Very beautiful sceneries, again, from the campus and the dorms. Everything is nearby, very typical Swiss surroundings, a lot of outdoor activities, hiking, skiing, etc. The area of Pasug, the region of Pasug is very well known for their food and beverage area, their sector, and wellness as well. So the focus on this campus in particular is if you want to do like the professional pathway program that allows you to complete a program in 4.5 years. It has more work experience than the academic, but your focus is mainly in food and beverage and in wellness. So when I say wellness, think about like these luxurious hotels that have thermal baths. Here, the internships are paid because they're done in Switzerland, and the school finds those internships for you. Versus Lausanne and Singapore, where you find the internships yourself, and it could be in different areas. It's the employer who decides if they're remunerated or not, but you can do them anywhere around the world. So it kind of depends what your goal is. If you think Harry Potter, that's kind of like the idea of the decoration inside of the building. But as you can see, I mean, it's small classroom sizes, very interactive, very, very quaint, very Swiss, very cute town. I went to it just past July. It was great to be able to visit the campus and see the surroundings. It's about like a 5 or 10 minute bus ride to the city center. And it's all mainly pedestrian. Public transport is very common. You don't need a car to any of our campuses. But these are the dorms for you to have an idea. Student life at EHL is fantastic. It's very active. If there isn't a club or a committee, like we call them, that you like, you can create your own as long as you have 5 votes and it's approved. You're attributed a budget and you manage that and develop it. But there are things having to do with MUN, so Model United Nations. They do the debates. There's things having to do with arts, photography, wine. You know, if you want to learn about how to become a wine connoisseur, you go visit vineyards nearby. Fashion shows, sailing, sports. Ice hockey is one of our, I must highlight that one for Canada. We don't have baseball, but ice hockey, yes, and it's one of our strong teams, as well as rugby and a cheerleading squad. It's an opportunity for you to be able to look for that work-life balance. You work really hard in the program. You're very busy. You learn a lot, but you have the right to also balance it out with some fun. So it's very, very active in Lausanne. If you're into culinary arts, for example, it's a competition, the Chefs Against Students. If you're into charity and social work, you can do that. As you can see on the screen, there's a terrace area where students can study. Across the way is France. That's how close we are to France. So, I mean, you really have the opportunity to kind of carry over your interests and your passions towards your education in college and integrate it as part of your education. Now, briefly, in regards to our admissions process, it is a 3-step process. So you apply online, either through our website or via the Common App. After that, we send you a link to videotape you answering some questions. We evaluate that. And then thirdly is motivation day. You do a team building activity, a face-to-face interview with current students and staff or faculty, and a personality test. The whole idea is that we want to make sure that we don't, evaluate you based on grades only. We believe that you're much more than grades. You've accomplished things that you're proud of, and it's good for you to have a chance to share it with us. Your interests, you can tell us a little bit about you in those interviews, and we take everything into consideration before making a decision. If you're not only academically prepared, in our view, for the program, but that you have certain aptitudes that will be an added value to become a student, part of our student body. You can take a look at this screen later on, but overall, I wanted to include the typical academic diplomas that we do receive from Canada. Canada, we're receiving more and more applications from Canadians. It's fantastic to see that develop. We have more students from Canada attending our program, and even specifically from Quebec. So we're happy to see that as well. But depending which province you're coming from, there's a different criteria, but all in all, it's around between 70 and 75% minimum average to be able to apply. Of course, you apply during your last year. And then if you have that average when you apply Then we continue the process. We look at your language skills and your overall application. And then afterwards, once you receive a final decision, it would be a conditional as long as you graduate and your final GPA or your final average is between 70 and 75%, depending on the province. For Quebec specifically, you can apply as a direct entry into our Bachelor Year 1, possibly. Sometimes they split DEC and Cégep. Sometimes it's the same thing. A lot of times, Diplôme d'études collégiales it's one degree and it includes the years of Cégep or at a Cégep. But all in all, is 70% your minimum average. If you have additional work experience, which is 6 months of work experience in the domain, besides having the DEC, you could possibly apply for direct entry and be exempted from our first year. That's called preparatory year. If not, everybody does the 4-year program. I like preparatory year anyway, because it does include an internship in the second semester. So I wouldn't necessarily skip it, but everybody has their reasons to try to apply for the different years. And of course, the French bac, if you're part of the IB diploma or French bac, those are the minimum requirements. We take into consideration recommendation letters, any type of extracurricular activities, leadership roles you've held, language certificates, any work experience, anything like that, which is an addition to your application. Feel free to include it. We read everything. I promise you that. We consider everything. Again, our approach is holistic. So we want to get to know you from different perspectives. If you have been taught in English for the last 3 years in a row, you do not have to submit an English certificate exam. However, if it's been less than 3 years, let's say you moved to Canada and it's only been the last 2 years you've been there taught in English, and your previous education was not taught in English, we will need you to submit an English certificate exam. Swiss embassies at times, they get picky. Even if you're exempt from an English certificate from our side, they might require Chinese and Vietnamese to provide an IELTS or a TOEFL exam as part of the Swiss visa application process. It depends which embassy, not all of them do, but we like to point it out because it really depends which one you go to for your student visa. In regards to financial aid and scholarships options, we do have some on campus, depending what your situation is. They're mainly all merit-based and financial need-based. AP tuition waiver can go up to 20,000 francs based on your overall application to the program and your average at that point. Keeping in mind that our tuition fees right now are around 23,000 Swiss francs for the first year, for the preparatory year. So if you do receive this one, this one is covering the vast majority of your tuition fees. There's also other scholarships and loans once you're a current student, and we take into account what you're doing on campus, your average during your studies at EHL, plus your financial need. The ones on the other column are more for Latin Americans living in Latin America and FAFSA approved. That's more for Americans. So if you have the American nationality living in Canada and you're approved, you're applying for FAFSA loans, we can accept them because we're part of the agreement. But below you will see kind of average, to give you a ballpark figure in Canadian dollars, how much does it cost to attend EHL? Because I like to be transparent about it, and also the offerings. So average tuition fees per year is around 28,000 Swiss francs. And I say average because there's some years that are full academic years and some that are half, because the second half you're in an internship. So, so average in Canadian dollars, it's around 38,500 francs per year. And if I take into account tuition, food and beverage, your dorm, books, et cetera, everything except, no, sorry, everything except books and what you do on the weekends, it's approximately 67,000 Canadian dollars per year. Okay. Again, Singapore cost of living is 15% less than in Lausanne, so sometimes that does help. And there are also other options. I would not only rely on scholarship and financial aid from the university. I would also look into local opportunities for you to look into in Canada to be able to have additional financial support. Now, keep in mind, this is official scholarship financial aid. You also have 2 6-month internships. Those you can choose those who are remunerated to help you finance your studies. Legally, international students can work up to 15 hours per week in Switzerland. So if you want to do odd jobs in the weekends or anything like that, you can do so. That'll help you with some allowance money. And then there are ways around it. Like, for example, here, I wanted to share with you also some of the options that I share with students that are in contact with me. There are links of financial aid and scholarship options for Canadians to study internationally. So I just wanted to make sure that you know about the Canadian International Student Loan Program and then the Canadian Grants and Loan Programs that are available. If you look into these websites, you'll be able to see what you can apply to locally, so you don't only depend on EHL scholarships and financial aid. So this is important for you to have to give yourself other opportunities if you need more financial support, okay? If you're not graduating this year, you have the possibility to maybe test drive our program. We have a pre-university program. It's during the summer, the majority of the times. We have it in all 3 campuses in the digital option. Each campus has their specialty. So PSUG, like I said, culinary arts area, because of the region, the area, and the context. Hospitality, business, and innovation in Lausanne. International hospitality and luxury brands because of the Fortune 500s and luxury brands in Singapore. And then there's the digital world. So learning about hospitality in the digital world using social media, using that type of knowledge and that type of approach to your advantage when you're developing your business, and making sure you're in tune with the new trends right now and what the future trends will be, to be able to support your projects. We are heavily in contact with our students in social media as well. So feel free to follow us. We're of course on YouTube as well. I highly recommend you look at YouTube videos. It teaches you about EHL from different perspectives. You can take part of courses. It's called our taster classes. You can understand why employers hire us from the traditional hospitality field, but also non-traditional. Why is, Tesla and Procter & Gamble, and why are these companies looking into our students? What is important to them, and what are they finding in our students that is very intriguing to them and make them a good asset to their companies when they recruit them? There's some students that go into finance and they go into banking, so we have contacts with banks as well. So before you go, I am going to probably stop the video very soon. Again, that is my email address on the screen. Please contact me if you have any questions. Of course, I'm part of the fair today, so you could always chat with me. I highly recommend you take your cell phone out right now. Scan that QR code on the screen, just because that QR code will lead you to a registration page where you can leave me your contact information and we can chat afterwards. I know you have a lot of maybe universities to also consider, but that will allow you to receive information about EHL. If you're graduating this year, interested in applying, or interested in our junior academy, our summer program, feel free to go to our website. The deadline for international students to apply to our bachelor program this fall is May 1st. But don't delay. The more you delay, the less spots are going to be available at that point. If you have any questions at all, need any guidance, that's what I'm here for. I don't decide if you're in or out. I'm here to help you set yourself up in the best situation and the best application before submitting to our program. I've been with EHL for 10 years now. I've seen a lot of things come and go. So I could be a very good resource for you to understand how to best prepare your application to our program. So as mentioned, I will stop the recording because I will share this with everybody afterwards, but I will stay on Zoom anyway. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, okay?